Wow, would you look at this place? It's a pretty nice gym inside here. Hold on, guys. Let me just put my board here. Okay. Welcome everyone to the stream. You know, I was actually on my way to do the stream, and while I was walking to my normal studio, I found this free gym called Sejong's Gym. And I thought, wow, a free gym, that's amazing. It said free entry, there's no membership fees. So I'm like, wow, I gotta check this out. So I just got in here, guys. I'm seeing it for the first time along with you guys. This place looks pretty cool. I've got a lot of machines here. They've got some some barbells and everything. Wow. Wait a minute. I knew it. I knew there was something about this gym. I knew there was something about it. All the equipment, you have to pay money to use the equipment. It says, look at this. Look at this little barbell here. Oh, here. $1 per curl. $1 per curl. That's ridiculous, guys. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get some exercise here today. Maybe I won't. But anyway, any donations made today, which are, of course, again, just to break character for a second, totally not required at all. Any donations for today will go directly into me using this equipment because I really wanted to try it out today. So with that said, welcome everyone to the stream. We'll just do the stream from here since I'm in this gym anyway. Take a moment to look over our prerequisites for today before we get started. You want to make sure that you can conjugate action verbs and descriptive verbs into adjectives. You also want to make sure you're familiar with the past tense and how to use negative verbs. So let's just check out to see who's here. Hold on, let me scroll up and see who did I miss who came in earlier. Welcome, Cheryl, Small, Arlie. Let's see here. You guys were here early. Hey, Lauren. Welcome. I see also a few other members. Gianna. Sam Strongarm. Oh, great, Cheryl. Great. Billy, this is your warm-up. Feet shoulder width apart. Knees slightly bent. Palms facing your sides. Alternate your curls. Okay, 10 curls. All right. Thank you, Cheryl. We've got some cash, so now we can do. I think this gives us enough money. Hold on, let me see if the machine accepts cash. Yes, it does. Okay. All right, we've got this. We can now do 10 curls on this as per the rules for this gym. So let's go. So we can do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I should alternate so I don't wear out one of my arms. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is actually heavier than I thought. If for those of you who are wondering, it is about 8 pounds. You can hear it slam on the ground. It's about 8 pounds, I'd say. There's 2 weights on it, about 5 or so pounds, and then the bars another couple pounds. All right, then. So I do have a few announcements to make today, in addition to I'm going to be working out. Hopefully, though, I've calculated, if you're wondering, I've calculated in advance, and usually by the amount of donations we generally get per stream, I should be fine. So you don't have to worry about my health or anything like that. There's not going to be any problem with that today. Oh, maybe I spoke too early. Hello, Gianna C. Thank you. I guess, well, yeah, so my arms are already, Gianna. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, thank you, Gianna. I will do 10 more, what do you call it, reps? What's it called? Just curls? Do I just call it curl? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's getting hot in here. I don't know about you guys. 5, okay? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, no problem. We're okay. We're gonna be okay. Nothing's gonna be too bad today, so I think we'll be fine. Hold on, let me just it's a little bit hot in here. Let me just turn up the air conditioner in this place. Hold on. Okay. All right. So we do have a few announcements before we get started. First of all, is next Sunday there is no live stream. So there's no lesson next Sunday, but the next Sunday after that, we will be getting a whole new list of 5 new voting options, and we'll do 3 more live streams in a row. But just a reminder that next Sunday there is no live stream. Also, instead, since there's no live stream, what I'm going to be doing instead is filming the last episodes of the beginner Korean course. Hopefully you guys enjoy that course. I'm personally almost finished making it, although I know we've only just barely uploaded episode 50. I'm going to be filming the last 20 episodes the day after tomorrow. So I'll be editing those and working on that for this weekend instead of doing a live stream. Oh, so new people just came in. Yes. It was my idea, which is why I don't know what to say. Oh, yes, that's right. Arlie said I should try doing more exercise. So that's why when I saw this gym that said free membership, I'm like, why not? I mean, other gyms charging 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 bucks a month for membership. This place is free. But unfortunately, as we just found out today, they do charge per curl or per usage of each machine. So I don't know. We'll have to see, though. Other announcements are, as always, you can get the worksheet and outline for today's live stream from Patreon. So this is the outline for today's. You can also get a worksheet with, I believe, 16 or 18 or something more example sentences that you can practice regarding the topic we're going to be doing today. So you can get those on Patreon for every level. You don't have to be a rich donator to get those. You can be a $1 donator and still get access to every worksheet every worksheet and every outline from all the lessons that I've done. Also, there is a Discord channel. We have a Discord channel that you can access 24/7, and there are lots of members there who you can practice Korean with, ask Korean questions to, or just chat about the latest K-pop album or whatever you'd like. Anything related to learning Korean is acceptable there. So make sure to check that out. There is a link in the description of this video if you're interested in that. And one last thing, if you are a member of this channel, you will also get access to watch all of the live streams, abridged versions, the same night that the live stream finishes. So right after this live stream's over, about 3 or 4 hours after it's over, you'll be able to watch the abridged version of this lesson today, as long as you're just a YouTube member. All right, so that was a mouthful. Now we are done with all of the announcements for today, and I can just answer a few questions before we get started. We'll start right at 2 o'clock. So we're a bit early today, but that's good. Vicino DDA, hey Billy, the beginner course is amazing. Thank you, I appreciate it. I hope people are watching it. KB1, got your new tablet. No, I didn't buy it yet, but we did get enough for me to get one. So what I'm doing is just, as long as it keeps charging and turning on, I'll keep using it. But I feel like every time I try to use it, it doesn't work. Like I was even trying to charge it before and it wouldn't even light up, but then it did. So we'll see. As soon as it like dies, I'm not gonna have to worry. I'll just buy another one. And I've already picked out kind of which one I'm gonna be getting. So no problem with the tablet now. I'm still using the same one, but like I said, it doesn't actually work. The touch feature doesn't work. It doesn't have any of its tablet features. There isn't even a battery meter, so I can't tell if the battery's okay. But yeah, we'll keep using it until it actually dies. Just, why fix something unless it's broken? But yeah, last week was great. I was able to get enough to definitely get a new Android tablet when this one's gone. Did I miss 20 curls? Yes, you just missed 20, but we're fine. I'm already pretty tired from those 20 curls, I can tell. Yes. Renshin, what happened? It totally died, but then it kind of came back to life as a zombie. So I did a Windows update, an optional Windows update by mistake, and it messed up all the drivers got deleted. So it basically just operates like a monitor with there's no features. You can't even like put it to sleep. There's no battery symbol. So it's pretty much dying. Yeah, ghost tablet. I'm in a Discord for armies. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't gone in there myself, but I've been tweeted about that with some people who are using that course to learn Korean, which is really cool. I hope that there are more people who are, I think there is a command for membership. I think it's join. Is it? It might not be. I might have just made that up. Let me see. No, but it's not. But there's there's a link in the description for information about how to do that, as well as there should be just a big join button on my channel right below this video that you can see too. See-through technology, yes. It's a very special tablet. The dablet, as it was called last week. Sophia! Sophia! All right, let me... Sophia. Thank you for the €5. Can you explain the difference between shipta and shipohada? Yes, I can. Let me just do 5 curls real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's not really that hard right now, but as long as I don't get too many donations today, we should be fine. It should be just a little nice warm-up exercise for me while we're going. Yes, we do have a few minutes before, before I erase this though, just restating the prerequisites. You want to make sure you can know how to conjugate action verbs and descriptive verbs into adjectives. You want to be familiar with the past tense and note how to use negative verbs. Whew, I'm already like, my breath's already like running out. I'm already like, like breathing harder from just doing like 20 curls. Okay, because we don't have much time, I don't have much time to do a full lesson on this. I'll make it very simple. Shipta is only for first or second person, as in saying I or saying you. Like I want to, or you want to, or asking questions. Do you want to? I or you. Shipta. The end. You cannot use shipta for someone else. You can't say Billy wants to unless you're Billy. You can't say Charsu wants to, he or she wants to, or does that person want to? You can't use shipta to do that. That's only first and second person. Shipohada you can. That's the really short explanation. So shipohada is what you have to use if you're doing a third person. So he or she or that person over there, someone who's not me or you, wants to, or do they want to, or many people who want to, right? Other people, not I or you, but there are many people who want to. Something shipoha는 사람들이 많아요. There are many people who want to do whatever, like that. I can't make it longer. I can't make it a longer explanation than that because we have to start in 2 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of it. "25 curls, but who's counting?" I'm counting. I'm definitely counting. I can feel these. They're a lot harder to do than dabs. Although dabs are pretty hard, but I think last time I did, what was it? 200. I think I did 240 dabs last time. If I did 240 curls, I would just die. So dabs are a little bit easier. "I'm just a random kid. Are you in the Oh, I see. That's the guy's name." I was like, oh, interesting. "Do they actually teach you Korean?" I think they're doing like a little Korean teaching each other practice group. Okay. Any other quick notes before we start? We'll get started right at 2 o'clock. Billy, those abs. Yeah, first it's the dabs, and then it's the abs, right? "Thank you for teaching Korean." Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. Okay, best shape. Sure. I'm actually satisfied with my weight anyway. My body shape, not really. Not really so satisfied. But kind of too lazy to do anything about it. Billy's coming out. Yeah, can you imagine like I'll take a break over the winter. Like I'll just upload videos I filmed in advance, and then when you guys see me again, it's going to be like there's going to be like rips on my shirt. Yeah, we'll see that. I'll like shave my whole head, just like wax all over my arms. Or it'll be like the shiny glistening stuff on my arms. I'll be like, "Hey guys, welcome to my Korean class. Today we're going to be learning about..." I'll have this like really deep voice all of a sudden. Zara Park, this is my first live. Welcome. Okay. Billy Diesel, yes. "I am Groot." Oh, forgot to say hello, Billy. This is my first time in stream. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, some new people are coming in. If you're wondering about the prerequisites for today, which I just erased though, you can learn all of those topics already through previous live streams I've done. So if this is your first time coming to a live stream, I've really done like, I want to say like 70 or 80 or so of these full 2-hour lessons. So you can probably learn most major topics through just these live streams. Of course, not everything. Oh, I got another addition. Please treat this as 3,015 won. Is it? Is €2 $3? It's not $3. It's $2.30. 3,000. I'm not treating it as 3,015. I gotta be careful. You're gonna kill me. You guys are gonna. It's gonna be so easy for me to die. You know. I shouldn't be rounding up. I should be rounding down for my arm's sake. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Okay, fine. 3. All right. The machine still wants an extra $1, but I'll do it for you. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be learning an intermediate form today, and that is 편이다. But before we do that, let's talk about this word 편. Now, the form 편이다 is actually, of course, a combination of 편 and 이다, to be. So literally, to be a 편. What is a 편? 편 means a side. Now, I don't just mean like a metaphorical, a vague word sign. I mean side. I mean the actual word side, like right side, left side, other side. I'm on your side. All of these things in Korean can be expressed with 편. Now that's what 편 means. Let me give you some examples. 반대편. 반대 means opposite. 반대하다 means to oppose. 반대편, the opposite side. 건너편. 건너다 means to cross. 건너편 means the side that you get to when you cross something. So again, the other side, but specifically for when you're crossing the street or something like that. Across from. And 맞은편. 맞다 means to face, to look at each other. So the side that looks at a certain side. So again, you'd also say the opposite side, but this is more like the facing side, the opposite face of something. So if you're on the side of a street, well, this is the facing side of that street. Not necessarily the side you get to by crossing the street or the side that opposes it. These are all 3 words for kind of very similar concepts in Korea. I'm just explaining them because they do have slightly different meanings and nuances because of the words that come from them. And 너의 here, 니, your 편, your side. I'm on your side. 네 편, 난 네 편이다. Literally, side. So I just wanted to show you that this word literally means side and is used to mean side in Korean. And when we use it in Korean to have a different meaning, it still literally means side. Hopefully, if you think about this, it'll help you to translate this better into English, because this is a grammar expression that is actually quite hard to translate into English. Okay, let me just check the chat for a second. 3,015 reps. Oh, okay. We're not going to get that. It's not one for a curl. It's $1 US for a curl. This machine takes US dollars only. I don't know. It's a weird gym. So let's learn our form. Now, you might have seen this form taught in other sources as like tend to or relatively or something like that. It actually can have a lot of translations. And I wish I could just tell you one easy translation for this form, but there aren't. There are actually a lot of translations for this form. But keep in mind that it always literally still means side. So if you kind of think of it as meaning something side, and I'll talk about that, this will help you when you translate it into English, because it won't always translate one way or another way. There are a lot of different ways you'll have to learn how to translate it for. Now, a note about this form. So first, let me actually write what it is. So let me write what the form is. The way you do it is you take a verb and you conjugate it into a present tense adjective. This is why I required you know how to change verbs into adjectives. An example of this, now this might sound fancy. In case you're doing this lesson without actually knowing the prerequisites, I'll tell you what this is. This is just the standard way of changing a verb into an adjective. With a descriptive verb, for example, 좋다, it would become 좋은, good, right? That's a descriptive verb. With an action verb, let's just do 가다, it would become 가는. But this is not required to be used with only descriptive verbs or only action verbs. It can use both, but it's in the present tense. First of all, it's in the present tense. So that would be 좋은 or 가는, for example. So you just take the verb and you conjugate it into an adjective as usual. If you want to learn how to do that in more detail, I did a full live stream before. You can also just watch the abridged version if you don't have time for that. And make sure you learn this concept. I think this is one of the most important concepts in Korean. Not because it's most important, like the hardest or anything like that, but because it's used so much compared to even other grammar forms. This is probably the most commonly used, the most versatile grammar form in all of intermediate Korean, in my opinion, is being able to change verbs into adjectives in the different tenses. So anyway, you take a verb stem, you change it into a present tense adjective, and that can be a descriptive verb or an action verb. Then you attach 편, followed by ida. Now this ida will be conjugated in either the past tense or the present tense. So it could be 편이에요, 편이야 if you're speaking casually, 편이었어요, past tense, or 편이다 if you're doing plain form. But it will never be future tense. It's not going to be 편이겠어요, 편일 거예요. Anything like that is off limits. So past tense is okay if you want to say it was the side. Present tense is fine, of course, if you want to say it is the side. So this literally means something is to be, is, or was, if it's past tense, the side of verb. Whether that's a descriptive verb or an action verb. Something is the side of verb. It's on the side of good. It's on the side of light. It's on the side of happy. That's sort of literal meaning when it's used with descriptive verbs, or it's on the side of doing something when it's used with an action verb. This will make a little bit more sense after we've covered how this form is used. I just want you to think again about the word side when we're doing this form. So, how is this form used? I will show you. Okay. This form is used subjectively. Subjective means that it's just your opinion. This form is used to state your own opinion about something as being a certain way. So one more time, I'll just restate that. This form, 편이다, is used to state your opinion, the speaker, that something or someone is a certain way. So it's kind of like saying, I think, this is that way, this is that, this is like that. It's for stating your opinion about something or someone, to say that person or that thing is a certain way, in your opinion. That's what it's used for. But there are a lot of different ways you can translate this form. So I'm going to give you a few different translations that you'll commonly see. Fairly, somewhat, or kind of. This is one way you might see this form translated. So, in my opinion, something is fairly descriptive verb or action verb. We'll give you some examples in a second. Somewhat or kind of. So let's just take the example of 친절하다. 친절한 편이다. So this is just the descriptive verb 친절하다, to be friendly, to be kind. 편이다. Literally, the side of friendly. He or she is on the side of being friendly. He's on the friendly side. On the friendly side, in that sort of sense. But it won't always translate to that. So I'm giving you some other alternatives. He or she is fairly, somewhat, or kind of friendly. So when you use these words, it's kind of like you're just stating your opinion, right? You're not saying they are friendly. They could be. You might want to say they are friendly, but when you're using this form, you're just stating it as your opinion. Yeah, they're fairly friendly. They're somewhat, or they're kind of friendly in that sense. So fairly, somewhat, and kind of are very common translations for this, but not always. Another way you might see this translated is relatively. So he or she is relatively kind, as in, compared to other people, they are on the kind side. They are on the friendly side, in that sort of sense. So relatively, because they're on a side of something, that must mean other people are on a different side, right? So relatively, they are friendly, in that sort of sense. And now, I've been saying the word side a lot. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you can translate this form with the word side in English. When it's used with descriptive verbs, you can say something like, on the descriptive verb side. So if you're using 친절하다, to be kind, you can say on the kind side, right? On the friendly side. He's on the kind side. He's on the nice side. That sort of sense. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you can translate it with the word side, but literally it does mean side. So if it works in that case, it could work. Like, yeah, he's on the friendly side, that sort of sense. He's on the talkative side. Yeah, that my friend, he's a bit on the talkative side. He's relatively talkative. He's fairly, somewhat, kind of talkative. This is, again, my opinion. So you're not stating something as a fact, you're stating something as your opinion. So keep that in mind. Opinion and side. But if you're doing this with action verbs, what would someone that does something, how would you translate someone does something side? He is on the side of doing something. He is on the side of, for example, exercising a lot. He is on the side of exercising a lot. What would that mean? Just think about that for a second. What do you think that would mean if we use this now with an action verb? Someone is 운동하다. 운동하다 being to exercise. 운동하는 편이다. What would that mean? Just think about it for a second. What do you think? Write it in chat what you think. I'm curious what you guys think. A KB1 guest seems to, not really, not seems to. This isn't making guesses. This is not for making a guess. This is for stating your opinion. Korean has other grammar forms we would use for stating, saying something I think so, or it seems to be, like, or it appears to be, from what I gather, that sort of sense. This is not that. This is just stating your opinion. You say someone is, but it's my opinion. That sort of sense. Yeah. Stefano, he's the type who exercises a lot. Okay. He tends to exercise a lot. Great. Triller, Pafif, I can't read your name. Tend to. Yeah. Those are nice. Yeah. Tend to. Sometimes when you're using this with an adjective, sometimes when you're using this with an action verb, a nice translation will be tends to. He or she tends to exercise a lot. They tend to do that. Now, not always, but I think it's pretty good with action verbs to be tend to. This can also sometimes be with descriptive verbs. He tends to be nice. That person tends to be talkative, right? It can be used with descriptive verbs too. So the way you translate this form is up to you. You will decide which one of these translations in English sounds the most natural in your sentence, but it's not going to be just always this one or always this one or always this one. You'll have to switch them up because in Korean, the meaning is always the same thing. On the side of, on the exercises a lot side, on the talkative side, right? On the friendly side. That's what it literally means. But it doesn't always translate as this. So just keep that in mind. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about this though. So I've now explained how to conjugate it and generally what it's used for. But let's talk, before we do an example, let's talk a little bit more about what this is actually used for. So there's lots of ways in Korean to say, I think, or yeah, it is, right? So why would you need to use this form? Why would you want to even use this form over another form? If I want, I can already say, that person talks a lot, or I think that person talks a lot. It's my opinion, I think. I think that person's friendly. I think that person exercises a lot, or it seems they exercise a lot. There are lots of other ways I can express something I see or something I think, right? So why would you want to use this form, which expresses your opinion, over, say, another form, which expresses the way you think or something? Why would you want to use this form over another form? Before I write this form can be used because it's your opinion, and it means that it's your opinion. Because this is just an opinion you're stating, it can be used to downplay a description of something or someone, even yourself. So you can say, like, yeah, I mean, you think this person's super nice. Yeah, I think they're somewhat nice. Like that. You're not saying they're super nice. Like, hey, you gotta meet my friend. You gotta meet my friend Charsu. He is super nice. You're not gonna say that. You're saying, yeah, he's somewhat nice. Like, he's pretty nice. He's relatively nice relative to other people. He's on the nice side. He's on the friendly side. He tends to be friendly. In this way, you can downplay what you're saying. So you don't have to state, he's super nice, and then they get their hopes up like, oh, he's gonna be the nicest guy in the world. You kind of downplay it. Like, yeah, in my opinion, I think he's on the nice side. Yeah, relatively good. Kind of like that. When you would want to do this a lot is with compliments. Now that can be yourself too. You can compliment yourself without sounding like you're bragging. If someone says, hey, can you speak Korean? Well, what would you say in English to that? What would you tell your friend if your friend asks you, can you speak Korean? Well, maybe your Korean's good. Let's just say you can speak Korean pretty well. Would you tell your friend like, oh, I'm totally fluent at it? Maybe not, because then maybe your friend would expect you to be able to translate anything from English and Korean. No, you might want to downplay it a little bit. Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm relatively good. I'm on the good side. I'm fairly, somewhat, kind of good. I tend to be pretty good at it. That sort of sense. It downplays what you're saying. So it's not just stating something is, but you're saying like, yeah, it's on that side, relatively, yeah, it's relatively good. It's pretty good. That sort of sense. So you can say like, yeah, my Korean's pretty good. 좀 잘하는 편이에요. I'm on the good side in that sort of sense without saying 잘해요. I'm really good. I'm so good. Kind of like that is what it can come across. So you got to be careful with when you're giving compliments to other people. If you just say, 철수 is super friendly. 정말 친절해요. Oh, he's so nice. That's kind of setting him up for being this nice, super nice guy, right? But if you were to say, 친절한 편이에요. Yeah, he's on the nice side. He's somewhat nice. That lowers their expectations, but still states your opinion. This tends to be the most common usage of the 편이다 form, is to downplay a description, usually a positive description, of someone or something. It doesn't have to be, though. It can also be used for saying things that are negative, but it tends to get used a lot for saying things that are descriptions of people that you kind of want to downplay and say, no, it's just my opinion. So yeah, it's used for just stating your opinion on something. And one more rule when you use this form. This form, 편이다, is not used for stating the obvious. It's not used to say something that everyone already knows. It is used for just saying your own opinion. Got it? Don't say something like, wow, he tends to be a Korean. What? He is on the Korean side. Like, what does that even mean? He is the guy you're talking with. He is a Korean. He speaks Korean. He doesn't tend to be Korean. He's not on the Korean. He's a little Korean-y. That doesn't make any sense, right? He's somewhat Korean. No, he is. Don't use it for stating anything that's obvious. So you wouldn't say something that everyone already knows with this form. So hopefully that, just to kind of keep it clear. If you wouldn't say someone tends to be or someone's fairly in English, you can't use this form to say it in Korean. So that was one example I gave you. You could do something like, the sun tends to be hot. It's like, if you said it, it would sound like you're joking. Yeah, the sun, it's on the hot side, right? It sounds sarcastic. Don't use it for that sort of stuff. It just sounds really awkward and wrong in Korean. So you wouldn't say, yeah, the sun is fairly hot. It's on the hot side. Like, no, duh, that's not your opinion. It is really hot, okay? So don't use it for stating anything that's obvious. But if you're kind of remembering that this is like stating your opinion, like, yeah, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Well, then you're not going to use it for something that's obvious. So if this helps, if this seems a bit confusing to you, try to add the expression, but this is just my opinion, on the end of what you're saying. And if it sounds okay, you can use this form. But if you say something, and then if you were to add, but that's just my opinion, don't use it if it sounds awkward, right? Because it would be something that would sound awkward in Korean, because 편이다 is stating your opinion on something. So let me say that just one more time, just to make it really clear. Don't use this for saying something that's obvious, okay? So don't use this to say something that you couldn't add the expression, it's just my opinion, in English at the end of your sentence. Otherwise, it'll sound really awkward. All right. That is all the rules you need to know for this form. And I've really explained a lot more than you really need to know. Oh, no, I lied. There's one more thing we need to know. Remember how I said with an action verb, this tends to be translated as to be on this, no, let me say, to tend to do something, right? I said that when you use this form with an action verb, it kind of can translate as someone tends to do something. He or she tends to exercise a lot. A lot. Whenever you're using this form with an action verb, in order to make it sound natural, you need to use an adverb along with the action verb you're using. So in the example I just gave, he tends to exercise a lot. I wouldn't just say he tends to exercise by itself. That wouldn't really sound right in Korean, because what you're doing again is you're kind of stating your opinion like relative. He's on or she is on the side of doing something in that sort of sense. Well, what side? They're on the side of just exercising? Like, what side is just exercising? I guess some people don't exercise. Okay. You want to use an adverb with it to make it sound more natural. Some examples of that would be things like 잘, well, or often. 자주, 안, or 못. So doesn't or can't. 좀, a little bit. 많이, a lot. Now you can use some other adjectives too. You can use some other adverbs too. Maybe like quickly, right? He tends to run quickly. But you need to have some sort of description of how that action verb is happening in order for it to make sense with the 편이다 form. You wouldn't just say 운동을 하는 편이에요. Yeah, he tends to exercise, which sounds kind of okay in English, but in Korean it would sound like he is on the side of exercising. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I could translate that back into English. It just sounds awkward in Korean because you're trying to say someone is relative to other people, relative to other things, does something. Well, does something what is relative? What about that thing they do is relatively different than other people or things? That's what you need an adverb to say. I was trying to say state and say at the same time. To share. You need an adverb to say those kinds of things. So use it with an adverb. It'll sound much more natural. If you're using a descriptive verb, however, you don't. You can just say they are on the kind side. They're on the funny side. Anything like that with just a descriptive verb. But with an action verb, always use it with an adverb. Okay. Is that everything we need to learn about this form? So we can get some examples. Please let that be everything. Oh, okay. No, there's one more thing we need to learn about, but I'll explain this in a second. Hold on. I don't think I have to do this right now. Okay. No, we'll do this at the end after I finish these examples. There's one more thing we need to learn about this form. I'll tell you guys afterward. Okay, let's go right into our first example sentence. Let's go right into, it's like 30 minutes later, 30 minutes into the lesson. Let's do our first example. Let's just jump right to it, right? It's like YouTubers make their video and like 10 minutes after the introduction, they're like, all right, so let's get right to it, guys. Yeah, so 그 친구는, so that guy, that girl, that friend of mine, 말이 많다. 말이 많다 literally means to have a lot of words. You would say talkative, but in Korean they say 말이 많다. Literally, there are a lot of words. Yeah, you guys can get what I mean. 말이 많은 편이에요. Actually, let's do 아니에요. Haha, throwing a wrench in the gears. This form can also be used with 아니다, to not be on the side of something. So in this case, 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이 아니에요. So you can also use 아니다 to not be on the side of 말이 많다. Talkative, literally to have a lot of words. 그 친구는, that friend, that person, 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이 아니에요. That person is not on the side of having a lot of words, or that person is not on the talkative side. You could switch this up. You could say 편이에요 is on the talkative side. 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이에요. That friend, that person is on the talkative side. But for this example, we're just going to use 아니다 for that. 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이 아니에요. That friend is not on the talkative side. Or that friend is not somewhat or not relatively talkative, like that. Or if you want to say tends to, that friend doesn't tend to talk a lot, is also okay too. You just have to change the translation a little bit to get it to fit, but you can use that as well if that sounds fine to you. Okay, let me just check the chat for a second before I erase this. Give you guys a second to look this over, then we'll go to our next example. Bora, hey Bora. What's the difference between 수다스럽다 말이 많다? 수다스럽다 is like chatty. Because 수다 would be like gossiping, like gossipy, that sort of sense. And 말이 많다 just means has a lot of things to say. Okay. Watching this instead of actually doing my Korean homework? Nice. Nice. Okay. One more time. 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이 아니에요. Again, you could, of course, say 편이에요, is on the side. So again, think of it like side. They lean toward, what do they lean toward? What side are they? Well, they're on the side of here, 말이 많다, to have a lot of words, to be talkative. 말이 많은 편. So on the side of, they talk a lot. So think of however you'd like to translate that and translate it that way. You're not going to really be wrong as long as you get the meaning of that form, because the translation could depend person to person or sentence to sentence. Some stuff will sound more natural in this example or a different example. So I don't want you to just stick to thinking that it has to mean on the side or it has to translate as fairly or somewhat or relatively. It can use any of those depending on what you feel sounds the most natural in that sentence, as long as you get what it literally means. It's saying they are that way. They're more talkative, in my opinion. That sort of thing. 그 친구는 말이 많은 편이 아니에요. So that friend is not on the talkative side. Okay. Let's do the next example. Let's do one with an action verb. 오빠는, my older brother, 운동을 많이 하는 편이에요. 운동, exercise, 많이. Notice how there's an adverb in here because we're using it with an action verb. 하다. So 운동하다, to exercise. 운동을 많이 하다, to exercise a lot. Literally to do a lot of exercising. 하는 편이에요. He is on the side, he leans toward exercising a lot. So he relatively, somewhat, exercises a lot. He tends to exercise a lot. That's how you can translate it. 오빠는 운동을 많이 하는 편이에요. My older brother tends to exercise a lot. And this is my opinion. Again, I'm stating my opinion, and I'm kind of downplaying it a bit. You know, maybe my brother, he actually exercises 8 hours a day. You could say this. 운동을 많이 하는 편이에요. Yeah, he tends to exercise a lot. That sort of meaning. Yeah, he exercises quite a bit in that sort of sense. So you're not saying he exercises a lot. 운동을 많이 해요. He exercises a lot. You're saying he tends to exercise kind of a lot. So this could also be downplaying it. Maybe you're giving him a compliment, or maybe you're saying he does it too much. But you're saying it's my opinion, so it's like, yeah, he's more on the he exercises a lot side in that sort of meaning. Okay. 오빠는 운동을 많이 하는 편이에요. So my older brother tends to exercise a lot. Okay, how are we on time? We are okay on time. Great. 우리 엄마는, so my mom, 우리 엄마는 먹는 것. I was like, my voice is like, 먹는 것, literally things that you eat. Again, this is a adjective. This is not the 편이다 form here. This is just the regular expression. 먹는 것, things you eat, or food, right? 먹는 것에 신경 쓰다. 신경 is literally nerve, a nerve. 신경을 쓰다 means to use your nerves, but in Korean that's how you'd say to worry about. 신경 쓰다, literally to worry, to use your nerves, that sort of sense. 신경을 많이 쓰는, so to use a lot of your nerves, to worry a lot, or care a lot, that sort of thing. 쓰는 편이에요. Okay. Actually, let's do 편이세요, because just be polite. Let's be extra polite to our mom. Okay. 우리 엄마는, my mom, 먹는 것, things that you eat. So food, on food. 신경 쓰다, to care about, to worry about, that sort of thing, to care. 먹는 것에 신경 쓰다, to care about what you eat, to care about things you eat. So to care about what you eat. 신경을 많이 쓰는 편이세요. So she is on the side of caring a lot about, literally, to care to, 신경 쓰다 is used with a, to care about what she eats. So my mom tends to care a lot about what she eats. 우리 엄마는 먹는 것에 신경을 많이 쓰는 편이세요. So my mother, cares fairly a lot about what she eats. Or my mom tends to care a lot about what she eats. Or my mom somewhat or relatively cares a lot about what she eats. As in relatively, like she's on this side. You know, other people maybe are there on this side, but she cares a lot. She tends to care a lot about what she eats. 우리 엄마는 먹는 것에 신경을 많이 쓰는 편이세요. So, my mom, on things she eats, 신경을 많이 쓰는 편이세요. She tends to care a lot about what she eats. So my mom tends to care a lot about what she eats. Okay. All right. Let's do a few more examples. We're not done. We have one more form, though, I want to cover about this with this grammar form before we finish, of course. 제 동생은, so my younger sibling. 제 동생은 나이. 나이 is age. 나이에 비해. So this is a different expression. 비하다. To be compared to. something에 비해 means compared to something. 나이에 비해. Or relative to age. 나이에 비해. So my younger sibling, 나이에 비해, relative to his age or her age. 키가 크다. 키가 크다 literally means 키 is stature, your height. 크다 is big, so tall. 키가 크다 is tall. 키가 작다 is small. So 키가 큰 편이에요. 제 동생은 나이에 비해 키가 큰 편이에요. So, my younger brother or younger sister, relative to his or her age, 나이에 비해, relative to his or her age, 키가 크다 is tall. 키가 큰 편이에요 is on the tall side, is fairly or somewhat or kind of or here maybe is relatively tall for his age. You might say something like that. For his age. Literally, relative to his age, but for his age would sound better. So my younger sibling is quite tall for his or her age. 제 동생은 나이에 비해 키가 큰 편이에요. So yeah, my younger sibling is quite tall for his or her age. They're quite tall for their age. 제 동생은 나이에 비해 키가 큰 편이에요. Again, this is my opinion. So I'm not just saying, yeah, he's a monster, super tall. You're saying, yeah, he's on the tall side. She's on the tall side. Despite being quite young, he or she is on the tall side. Okay, are you guys doing okay? Are you following along? Do you guys need a break? I want to give you guys an example to translate if it's possible. Okay, I want you guys to finish this sentence. Actually, no, I'm going to do one more sentence and I'm going to have you guys do the next one. So this next one I'll give you and then I'm going to have you guys translate one. Okay, one more. 저는 채소보다, actually, can I write it here? 보다, sure, okay, cool. 채소보다, 채소 means vegetables. 저는 채소보다 과일을 많이 먹는 편이에요. 저는 I 채소보다 more than vegetables 과일 fruits 많이 먹다 to eat a lot of fruits more than vegetables. So I eat more fruits than vegetables. 먹는 편이에요. So I am on the side of eating a lot of fruits more than vegetables. So I tend to eat more fruits than vegetables. 저는 채소보다 과일을 많이 먹는 편이에요. So I eat more fruits than vegetables. I relatively eat, I somewhat eat, right? It can be kind of tricky to translate this with somewhat or kind of. In this case, relatively. I think tends to might work best for this translation, unless you guys can think of a different way to translate it. But yeah, I'm on the side of, I'm on that side. I lean toward, I eat more fruit than vegetables. I tend to eat more fruits than vegetables. 저는 채소보다 과일을 많이 먹는 편이에요. So I tend to eat more fruits, 많이, a lot, than vegetables. Okay. Now I want you guys to translate one. I want you guys to make this sentence. My boyfriend, or girlfriend if you want, or just friend if you don't have either. My friend tends to play a lot of games. Now, I will give you a key word here. Play in Korean is 하다, to do. Whenever you're talking about any sort of game, to play that game, any game, computer game, real life game, any sort of game, it's always 하다, not 놀다. Okay, so my boyfriend or girlfriend or just friend or whatever, spouse, tends to play a lot of games. Go ahead and translate this one. I'll let you guys do it. See who can, see people are already doing it. Okay, Pay1, I did a lesson about 차라리 actually just a few weeks ago. So you can check that out on the live stream, the Google document that I made to find a lesson about that. But no, you can't. Noami, it's not game, it's game. Game. Let's see. 제 친구가 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. Nice, 렌신. 제 친구는 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요? Yes, small. You don't have to add the question mark. This isn't Jeopardy. Let's see. 제 남자친구는 비디오 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. You can just say game. And you can say video game. It's not necessary. You can just say 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. 우리 친구는 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. Our friend, okay. Our friend. 우리 남편은 남친? I think you mean 남친. 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. Okay. 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. Okay, nice. 많이 하는 편이에요. Okay, cool. 제 여자친구가 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. 빌리 선생님은 한국어를 잘 가르치는 편이세요. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Lau. Nice sentence. Perfect sentence. Wonderful. Okay, let me write you one of the possible answers you can give. Of course, you might have a slightly different answer than this. Let's do this with boyfriend. 남자친구가, my boyfriend or whatever, the boyfriend. 남자친구가 게임을 많이. Remember, you always need an adverb. Hold on, let me write this up real quick and then I'll check to see who just donated and how much that is. 하는 편이에요. Okay. Cheryl, you already sent me a donation today. Cheryl, let me update that. Okay, Cheryl just sent another $10 donation, so I got to do 10 more curls today. Let's see what you wrote. Now do the curls with your palms facing behind you. What do you mean? Then curl up with the back of your wrists like this. I think this is what you mean. Yeah, this is what you mean. I get it. Okay, I'll do 5 with right hand, 5 with left. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is kind of different. 4, 5. Yeah, that is different muscles. Cheryl's being like my personal trainer today. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, these are kind of hard. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. And 1 dab. I'll add a dab. Also for Gianna, Sophia, Matthew. 1 dab each also. Okay. Yeah, for any of you who have arrived late, I'm at this gym. It said it's completely free to enter, but then they charge $1 every time you do a curl. So I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, my arms are like getting all weak now. Okay. 남자친구가 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. So my boyfriend 게임을 하다, to play games. So 게임을 많이 하다, plays a lot of games. 편이에요. He's on the side of playing a lot of games. He tends to play a lot of games, or he plays somewhat a lot of games in that sort of sense. So I'm stating my opinion. I'm not saying 게임을 많이 해요. Yeah, he plays a lot of games. I'm saying, oh, he tends to play a lot of games. If someone were to ask you, like, does your boyfriend play games? And you're like, yeah, he 많이 하는 편이에요. Yeah, he plays a lot of games. He tends to play a lot of games. And if they were to ask you, is he good? Is he good at playing games? Would you say, 게임을 잘해요? 네, 게임 잘해요. Yeah, he's really good. No, you might want to say, 잘. Here, replace 많이 with 잘. 남자친구가 게임을 잘하는 편이에요. Yeah, he's on the good side. He tends to play pretty well in that sort of sense. So you're not like pumping him up and like bragging about him. But you're saying, I think he plays really well, at least relatively. I think he's good. So it's one way to kind of downplay your compliment, but still give a compliment, just without sounding like you're boasting about stuff. That's why this form is great for when you want to compliment yourself. So, for example, if you are a master chef and you've been cooking for 20 years, or maybe you're great at baking or something, and your friend asks you, oh, are you good? You want to say yes, right? Because you know you can cook a lot of stuff. You're like, yeah, I'm actually pretty confident in what I can do. But if you were to just say, oh yes, 아주 잘해요, I'm very good, it sounds, right, in English too, it's like, yeah, it sounds like you're kind of bragging, even if you are. And in Korean, it's important to sound humble, unless you need to be otherwise. So it's better to say, 좀 잘하는 편이에요. Yeah, I'm kind of good, I think. I'm relatively good, compared to most people, I'm pretty good. Compared to most, I'm not bad, in that sort of sense. So you can still compliment yourself without making it sound like you're boasting about yourself. So here, 남자친구가 게임을 Oops, I was almost going to give the example I just gave. 남자친구가 게임을 많이 하는 편이에요. So my boyfriend tends to play a lot of games. So my boyfriend tends to play a lot of games. Okay, let's do another example. And then we have another slightly, I'll say another higher intermediate level note about this form that I need to cover, that you might see. Yeah, humble brag. Kind of like a humble brag, but it sounds nice. Yes. 제가 다른 사람들보다, so I, 다른 사람, other people, 보다, more than other people, 타자 is typing. 타자가 빠른 편이에요. This is a sentence that I can say. So, if I were to tell people I type really fast, it just sounds like I'm bragging. But I can say I actually am on the fast side for typing. I think I typically type around 120 accurate words a minute, but I can go up to 140 or 50 if I know exactly what I have to write. So I am 제가 다른 사람들보다 타자가 빠른 편이에요. So I am on the side of, I'm relatively, compared with other people, 다른 사람들보다, literally more than other people, 타자가 빠른 편이에요. So I am fast. I'm on the fast side of typing compared to other people. So more than others, I type on the fast side in that sort of sense, but without just going out and saying, yeah, I'm like super fast, you wouldn't even believe it. You can't even see me typing, which just sounds really, conceited, just sounds really bad. 제가 다른 사람들보다 타자가 빠른 편이에요. So you can kind of brag about yourself. You're like, yeah, your voice doesn't have to go up high like this. You don't have to reverse puberty to say this form. 다른 사람들보다 타자가 빠른 편이에요. Yeah, I'm on the fast side. When it comes to typing, I'm pretty fast compared to other people. I'm somewhat fast, relatively fast, like that. It's my opinion. So you're not just straight out saying something. Again, it's your opinion. You're kind of downplaying what you're saying. So it's really useful for compliments. 제가 다른 사람들보다 타자가 빠른 편이에요. I'm rather fast at typing compared with or more than others. Okay. 타자. Yeah, 타자 would be typing. Like 타자. Okay. Let me just check the remaining time here. Make sure we're okay on the... Okay. Yes, we are doing good. Now we're going to do another form. Oh, actually... Can I give this one to you guys? No, I don't think I can give this one to you guys. I think some of you would get it, but I think it might be a bit much for the majority. So I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to go on to another form. 저는 어렸을 때부터. Okay, let me write this up first. Okay, another one with 키가 크다. But let's just look at it with another tense. Okay. I said in the very beginning that you can use this form with present tense and past tense for 이다, and we even saw an example where you can use it with 아니다. So let's do one example of it in past tense. 저는 어렸을 때부터, from when I was young. 어리다 is to be childishly young. That doesn't sound right. 어리다 is to be young like a child. So when I was really young, when I was a child, 제가 어렸을 때, the time when I was young, from the time I was young, 키가 크다, again to be tall. One's stature is big, literally. 키가 큰 편, here it has to be past tense. 이었어요. I was on the tall side since I was young. So when I was young, since when I was young, I was on the tall side, literally, like that. Since I was young, I've been on the tall side. You might translate it more naturally. 저는 어렸을 때부터, so as for me, 어렸을 때, when I was young, 부터, from that time, 키가 큰 편이었어요. tall, 키가 크다. 키가 큰 편, on the tall side, 이었어요. I was on the tall side since I was young. So I've been on the tall side since I was young. 저는 어렸을 때부터 키가 큰 편이었어요. Okay. So we've done examples with past tense, present tense, 아니다. But there's one more thing you can do with this form that I haven't talked about yet. And I didn't want to until we first got the idea down. And that is you can also use this form. Actually, let me say this again. You can also use this form with past tense adjectives with action verbs. So let me show you that. Now, I'm not going to be going over the rules for this because there's actually a couple exceptions. Like if the verb ends with a lir, you remove it and do this. You can watch my live stream lesson about that to learn about those exceptions. So I'm just going to write it like this as a quick summary. You take an action verb and you conjugate it into a past tense adjective. For example, 하다, to do, would become 한. Now, this is not 하다 at the end of a descriptive verb. This is 하다 as in to do, the action verb. Or 먹다, to eat, another action verb, would become 먹은. 먹다, to eat, would become 먹은. 하다, to do, would become 한. This would be a past tense adjective. The present tense adjective, it was 하는 and 먹는, right? This 편이다 form can also be used with past tense adjectives. So what do you think that would mean? What do you think that would kind of mean? Let me give you guys an example and see if you can translate it. This eraser's now gone wild. It's just making streaks everywhere. No. Oh, I think we might have to get rid of this eraser soon. Okay. Oh, I should make a note about that. But whenever you do that, whenever you take an action verb and use the past tense adjective with 편이다, it will still stay as 편이다 conjugated into the present tense. So it's not going to become 편이었어요, past tense. It's going to stay 편이에요, for example. Or 편 아니에요, like we had. Okay. Well, actually, 편이 아니에요 could be like that with these subject. Okay, let me do an example. I want to see if you guys can translate this. Come on. Okay, I'm going to have to replace this. All right, I think this is at the end of its life. Okay. Okay, I want you guys to translate this sentence. 평소보다. Okay, well, I have space here, so let's just use it. 평소보다. Why did I pronounce it like that? 많이 먹은 편이에요. Okay, what does this sentence mean? I'm not going to give you guys the translation for it. There are no words you wouldn't know except maybe 평소. 평소 means normal, usually, something like that. So then 평소보다. 평소 is like usual or normally, that sort of sense. Just write what you think. I'm just kind of curious what you guys all think. I'm not going to correct what you write. I'm just curious what you guys think. Try to do it without looking at other people's guesses, though. Eraser donators. Yeah, while you guys are guessing, I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to get a new one. I don't want to have to like erase that hard. Okay, new eraser. Looks the same as the old eraser, but it's a brand new one. It's all nice. Oops, it's all nice and clean. See, it's gray. It's not even black yet. Okay. Okay, yeah, good. You guys got it. Oh, hey, Carrie. I think Billy's arms are getting tired, therefore he needs more exercise. I don't really follow the logic on that. I've already done 37 curls, so I think I'm okay though. 오늘은, as for today, 평소보다, more than usual, more than regular, more than normally. 많이, a lot. 먹다, to eat. 편이에요. I am on the side of I ate, past tense. A lot more than usual today. So today, I ate, past tense. More than usual. But here it's 편이에요. Again, this will still be present tense 편이다, 이에요, not past tense. Although this is past tense, it will still be present tense. Because you're saying, I am on the side of having eaten more today, is what you're still saying. Yeah, I am. I'm describing myself. I am today. What I am is somewhat, fairly, relatively, ate a lot more than usual. That's how it works in Korean. So I am on the side of having eaten a lot more than usual today. So today I ate a lot more than usual. Or maybe a better translation would be like, today I ate kind of a lot more than usual. In that sense, you're kind of downplaying what happened a bit. So you're saying it's kind of, it's my opinion. 오늘은 평소보다 많이 먹은 편이에요. 오늘은, so as for today, 평소보다 많이 먹은 편이에요. I tend to wouldn't fit. I'm on the side of having eaten. Okay, literally, yes. I kind of, probably is better translation. I kind of ate a lot more than usual today. 오늘은 평소보다 많이 먹은 편이에요. So I kind of ate a lot more than usual today. Okay, let's do another example. Again, I want you guys to translate this one. Yay! 지난 학기. Okay, I'll write the whole thing and then I'll tell you. 성적이 잘 나온 편 Okay. Okay, I want you guys to translate this for a second. Okay, what's going on here? What's going on here, Billy? What is this? 나온, past tense. So let me tell you a few words and then I'll let you guys try to translate this by yourself. 학기 is semester. 성적 is grades, the grades that you get at school. 잘 나오다, literally to come out well. So you got good. 성적, grades. 이었어요, past tense. So why do you think this sentence here can use past tense, but I just told you that you don't need to use past tense? I just kind of want you to think about these things with this sentence. So how would you translate this sentence? Just give it a try and think about, again, why would I translate this as past tense when I said you don't need past tense when you're using past tense? You don't need past tense when you're using past tense. You don't need past tense after 편 when you're using past tense before 편. But this sentence, it does. So what does this mean? Just think about it. I'll give you a minute to kind of think about what you think this means. Don't say I ever lied to you. But with the other example, you don't use it. But this example, you do. So why would you use it in this example, but not use it in that example? Because it's not the case anymore? Could be. That could be the reason. Doesn't have to be. You could still get good grades this semester too. Kind of got better grades? Yeah? Okay. Feels more natural? Okay. The grade came out? Yeah? That could be it. Past semester, I used to get good grades. Okay. I'm just kind of curious what you guys are thinking after the lesson. I kind of want to see where are we? Where are we all together with this lesson? How are we doing? It's done and totally in the past. Yeah, Hinara. Because the semester is further in the past than day. Kind of, yeah. Emphasize it happened in the past. Yeah. You guys have a lot of good reasons, but I'm glad to see you guys do kind of get it. Okay. The previous example where we said 많이 먹은 편이에요. We're talking about ourselves right now. In my opinion, I am on the side of having eaten a lot today. Like I ate a lot today in that sort of sense. But I am. Like, yeah, I ate a lot of work. I ate a lot today. It's still in the present. Even though it was today, it already happened. It's still in the present. I still am that way. I still am on the side of having eaten a lot. Right? That's why I said you still want to use it with ida unless you don't want to use it with ida. In this case, 지난 학기, last semester, 성적이 잘 나오다, literally 성적 grades, your school grades, 잘 나오다, came out well. So I got good grades last semester. 편이었어요. I had tended to, I was on the side of, I kind of got good grades last semester. Because we're saying this is totally in the past, 지난 학기, last semester, it's more appropriate to use 이었어요, past tense, because you're talking about your situation, you're talking about your state, the way that you were in the past, not the way that you are. You're not saying 잘 나온 편이에요. I'm not currently having just gotten good grades. No, this is last semester, completely in the past. So if you're ever talking about something that's completely done in the past, it's okay to use the 이었어요 form. Because you're no longer talking about yourself right now. But if you're ever talking about anything that has to do with your current state, I am a certain way, then you cannot use 이었어요. So our last example we just had, And many other examples when you're talking still about yourself. Like, yeah, I quite ate a lot today. You're still talking about your current self. If you want to say 3 years ago, I had been that way, I was that way, then you want to use the past tense. So here, 지난 학기는 성적이 잘 나온 편이었어요. I was on the side of having gotten good grades last semester. Okay, but I will say this. Most of the time you see this form 편이다 used, it's just used the way that we learned it originally. Present tense action verb or present tense descriptive verb conjugated into an adjective with 편이다 in the present tense. Sometimes 편이었어요 if you want to say someone was a certain way. Someone tended to do something. Sometimes, though, you will see it with action verb stems conjugated into the past tense like this, but it's much less commonly used. It's usually just used to say something like, yeah, they're on the nice side, they're on the fast side, tends to play a lot of games. That sort of simple usage. That's where you're going to see this form used the most. So keep that in mind, that although there are other ways to use this form, most of the time it's going to be used the simplest way. Yeah, keep that in mind. All right. 지난 학기는 성적이 잘 나온 편이었어요. So last semester, my grades were relatively good. Okay. All right. We finished all of our forms. We finished all our grammar today. We finished all of our sentences for today. That means we have time for a quick Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Now would be a great time. And I will just do a Q&A for, I'll say, 20 minutes. 20-minute Q&A. So if you have any questions related to the lesson or related to other Korean topics, feel free to ask those now. If not, if you don't have any questions or you don't want to stick around, feel free. You got the lesson. Remember, if you are a member, this lesson today will be uploaded tonight, so you can watch it. If you want to get another review of what happened, or if you weren't here, you can watch that tonight on my YouTube page. Everyone else can get to watch it, usually on Wednesday the same week later. 어렸을 때부터 큰 편이었잖아요. If you want to use 잖아요, you could add in 잖아요 or anything like that. Like, hey, you were like that, right? You tended to be like that. Yeah, you can kind of use it like that. Did you define 편식? That wasn't related to today's form. 편식, you're talking about like being picky? 잘하는 편이었어요. 작년. 작년 also means last year. I'm not sure if this is a question. Hey, Molly. Thanks so much for everything, Billy. Your videos have helped my Korean so much. Oh, thank you, Molly. Yeah, thanks. All right, I got 5 more. I can afford to get 5 more curls here. Okay, let's do this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Thank you. Okay, yeah, feel free to ask any other Korean questions you have here. Billy, what do you think about direct translations from Korean to English? I always have problems with translations. What do I think about them? I mean, it's fine if you think about them for learning purposes, but I wouldn't make them yourself because it won't really work for a lot of things. Some things I think it works okay, but most things don't tend to really match with literal translations for anyone other than yourself. So like if it works for you, if that helps you understand something, feel free to make it that way, but don't use it for other people, and someone else's literal translation is still going to be different than your literal translation because there's not really a literal way to translate most things. Like today it happens to mean side, but a lot of forms can have multiple meanings, so there is no one-to-one translation. So yeah, your literal translation is still just your opinion. Even if you think it's literal, it's still not going to be perfect. So, Cheryl, elbows next. Cheryl's just trying to get me to do a lot of exercise today. Okay, yeah, we can do 5 more curls here. Elbows next to your body. Elbows next to your body. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, elbows next to my body. Okay, 3, 4, 5. All right. It does feel a little bit different. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm pretty soon when I do more exercising, you won't even be able to see my face. I'll just have like these giant muscles. Okay, what's the difference between 신경 쓰다, 긴장하다? 신경 쓰다 is like to care in the sense that I care. I don't care. 신경 안 써요. I don't care about that. Not like I don't care, that sense, but no, I don't care. I don't worry in the sense. I don't think about that. 신경 쓰다 is like to worry, to care, that sort of thing. 긴장하다 is to be nervous. So it's not related at all. That would just be 긴장하다 or 긴장이 되다 would be nervous. 신경 쓰다 would not be to be nervous. 평소, you can also do 평소에, as in just to say normally. Like I normally, 저는 평소에 운동을 많이 해요. I normally do a lot of exercise. That sort of sense is fine too. 평소처럼, 평소보다, 평소에, 평소는, 평소에, yeah, you could use it in a lot of different uses, not just that. 신경 쓰다 for being nervous or worried? No, it's not pay attention. 신경 써 would be like, hey, care about it a little bit in that sense. Not pay attention. Pay attention would be 집중하다. 집중하다 means to focus, and that would be to pay attention. 집중을, optionally, 하다. 집중 means focus, so 집중하다 to focus. 집중해, focus, pay attention. There are some other ways you can translate that too, but that's a standard way. What was that one extra form from this lesson? That's the past tense one. Using this with action verbs in the past tense. Do you think Naver is the best online Korean? Rebecca asked, do I think Naver is the best online Korean English dictionary? For me, it is the best. For me. For you, it might not be the best. There's also Daum, D-A-U-M. Daum has a dictionary also that's a little bit easier to use. And there's also a Korean Learner's Dictionary, which you can search on the internet, which is also free. And that's it's much more condensed and easier to understand. So some people prefer that. I don't like it for myself, but I recommend it for other people because it's much less complicated. Whereas Naver just throws everything it has. Like, oh, you're looking up this word? Well, here's the word in 5 other languages you don't speak. But that's useful to me. But you might want to try the Korean Learner's Dictionary instead. Hey, Rebecca. Thanks, Rebecca. Rebecca, our new member. Okay, new memberships are 5 curls. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. What I don't make sure injury occurs. Ocean discovery. Ocean discovery. Oh no. Ocean. Oh no. I wasn't expecting ocean discovery to $20 donation. Okay, hold on. Let me do your question first, and then I'll do the curls. When you make an Anki card for a sentence or phrase, you put the literal translation or the intended meaning in English. If you're asking what I do, I write the literal meaning first in English. The most literal, the closest meaning to it in English. And along with that, some alternatives. And I'll pick one definition that'll also be the most natural way to translate it. This is in case the other ones don't encompass that. If there's one way that's like, even though it means this is what they actually use it to mean, like a natural translation, I'll definitely add that too. But what I also started doing earlier this year, which I normally didn't do, but I started this year, was to add in the Korean definition. Of course, make sure I understand the Korean definition. So if there's some words in there, I might have to look those up and add them too. But I'll also add the Korean definition next to the word in Korean. So if I look up the word, I can not only see the meaning in the English translation, but exactly what that means in Korean. Because a lot of times it won't match the English perfectly, and that's been really helpful to me. Okay, ocean discovery. All right, so I got to do 20 now. So I'll do 10 with one hand and 10 with the other hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd be exhausted soon. I think I'll be okay. 7. It's not too much. 9, 10. Okay, I think we'll be fine though. My right arm, shake it out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right, we're good. Oh, I think so far I've done, 68? 20, 45, 55, 60. Yeah, about 68. 68 so far. So we're not, I think I'm totally okay. Like I said, I tested this and I'm totally fine up to 70 or 80. There's no problem with that. Thanks again. Okay. Why does the clock in the background stop ticking? Oh, that clock, you have to pay $1 for it to turn. It's everything in the gym. It's $1 for everything. So the clock doesn't even work until you charge it. Scott, thanks, Billy. Can you explain 다녀오다 versus 돌아오다? Yeah, those are very different. Scott, thank you. Well, let me do 2 quick curls. 1, 2. Okay. Okay. And Cheryl. Okay. Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, and 3 more for Cheryl, and then let me answer your question, Scott. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheryl has all these rules, like keep your elbows against your body and keep your legs, shoulders width apart and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, you asked 다녀오다, 돌아오다. Quite different. 돌아오다 means to return. Or literally more like come back. And the 오다 part means here, 돌아오다. There's also 돌아가다, to return, as in to go back. Like 돌아가야 돼, 돌아가야 돼요. I have to go back. I have to return, as in like 집으로, to back to my house. I have to go back home. 집으로 돌아가야 돼. Or 아빠가 돌아왔어. Dad came home. Dad returned home. 다녀오다, 다니다. It comes from a combination of 2 things. 다니다, which means to commute, to go somewhere regularly. This is used for school, to commute to school, or work, as in like commute to school, as in like attend school. Like 학교 다니고 있어요. I'm attending school. 대학교 다녔어요. I attended school. That sort of sense. I commuted to work. 일을 다니다. 다녀오다 literally means to commute somewhere, the regular place you go to, and then come back. In the sense that you're going somewhere and then coming back. Go and come back. Whereas 돌아오다 is just came back, or 돌아가다, return back. 다녀오다 is now you're here, but you're going to go somewhere and then you're going to come back. 다녀왔어요. He came back. He went somewhere and came back. So you could say like 아빠가 다녀왔어요. Dad is back home, as in the sense Dad went somewhere and then now came back. Probably used work. So Dad is back from work. Back from school or work. 다녀왔어요. Like that. Literally, I went somewhere and came back. So I'm back from where I went. Okay. Get bit. Get bit. I was like a spider here or something. Get bit. I like the idea of putting the definition in Korean. Yeah, it's helpful to me. Like I said, because I want it. When you're learning advanced level vocabulary, there's a lot of words that mean the same thing as words you've already learned in English. You'll like put the word that means strange. There could be like a dozen words that mean strange or odd or bizarre. Just like in English, you have odd, bizarre, strange, weird, quirky, right? Mysterious, suspicious. There's all these different words that all kind of can mean weird, but in different ways. So I have to put down the Korean definition so I can tell them apart, because it'll say this one is like strange and humorous. Then I'd be like, oh, quirky, right? Or there'd be this one like strange and scary. Okay, eerie. This one, strange and unusual. Okay, bizarre, right? These are different words we'd say in English, but in Korean, they can all kind of mean strange. So unless you get that Korean definition, you're going to be really confused as to when you use each one. 돌다 is to turn around. Yeah, but 돌다 wouldn't be used by itself with that phrase. It's used as 돌아가다 or 돌아오다. Whereas other ones that have 가다 and 오다 are also used by themselves. This is not an example. 갔다 와 is the same thing, Grant. However, 다니, it would be used for something that you go normally to. So you wouldn't say 갔다 와 typically to your work, although you could. You would say 다녀와 because it's some place that you normally go to on a regular basis. You could say 갔다 와 though for your work, but you couldn't say 다녀와 to someone going to a brand new place that they never go to. It seems a little bit, it has a different meaning. It's like kind of go to the place you normally go to and come back. It's like, I've never been there before. Like, okay, like 다녀와 to Disneyland. Like, it kind of seems like you're saying that they go there often. Like, yeah, have fun, commute there and come back. Kind of like that. It's not wrong. It's a little bit more like 다녀오다 is like for things that you go to regularly. So like your work, or maybe you go shopping at a certain store. 갔다 와 is just to go somewhere and then come back, wherever that is. No, doesn't have to be someplace you go to regularly. But yeah, similar, definitely. Had to do it. No, Cheryl was saying she was going to raise $1,000. I'm really glad that wasn't true, because I would just die and you wouldn't see my channel anymore. Let's check here. I have a couple language partners through HelloTalk, but I'm not totally conversational yet. What do you think would be the most productive way to study with them? Are you trying to use Korean with them? One is, of course, keep learning more grammar, because the more grammar you learn, the more you can use with them. And the more you can use, the more they'll let you use with them, right? You're not really going to be able to have a conversation with them until you can even use that more advanced Korean, so they would want to use it back to you. Like, they're not going to use a advanced grammar form to you if they think you're still a beginner. So you need to kind of meet them up more in the middle. You have to learn more grammar to get up to there. And then, of course, is practicing more. So using what you do know more than you currently are. That's the only thing I would suggest for HelloTalk, though, because these are not paid tutors. These are just regular people. So imagine if you were in their shoes and you're messaging someone who's learning English, but they can only say no, yes, hi, where. Like, they can't really make sentences. Would you feel comfortable speaking with them in Korean? Probably not. You'd want to help them, but you wouldn't even know how. So, because you're not a teacher, you're not going to be trying to say, hey, let's try to make this sentence together. Let's practice. You're not going to do that because you're not getting paid. And you're not really good enough friends because you can't communicate. So it's not going to happen. You have to think of it in their shoes. What would you want someone to do for you if you're going to be helping them with their language? So the idea is obviously, well, trying harder to learn their language, learning more grammar, practicing more. That's what you have to do for that. But then as you learn more Korean, it will get easier to use them. I shouldn't say use them. Use that experience. It'll be easier to get more Korean practice while talking with your friends, the more you know, obviously. 왔다가? Yeah, you could use 왔다가. 왔다 갔어. Yeah, it's fine. Your beginner courses were amazing. You're planning to make intermediate? Nope. It's going to be 100 episodes. I decided that after I did the first couple episodes. I wasn't sure if it was going to be 100 or 120 or something, but I decided to make it exactly 100 after I was able to. Early on, I planned out all the episodes, all the topics I wanted to teach. So no, I don't want to do another 100 episodes or so. If a ton of people started watching the course, then yeah, it's possible. But at the current rate, there are only, I'd say, maybe 1,000 people who are doing it on a regular basis. And I need to make sure I can also do regular videos for my channel too. The videos that I can teach more than just the basics. So probably for the time being, no, there won't be an intermediate after this series finishes. I'll do other intermediate videos, of course, but not in that beginner course series. That'll only go up to less than 100, and that'll all be within beginner level topics of some level, high, beginner, mid, and low. The problem is actually the vocab. I would wager that the problem is actually grammar. And the reason I think that is because you might think you don't know a lot of vocabulary. You can't say, how do I say this verb or this word? But it actually comes down to, how would you even remember that long list of vocabulary words you learned unless you have grammar to use it in? For example, you might learn all the words for every body part, right? You learn eyes, mouth, eyebrows, eyelashes, ears, behind the neck. You learn all these words. But what are you going to say with that? Are you just going to say, 아파요, 눈이 아파요, 귀가 아파요, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts? What are you going to say with it? You need some grammar. You might want to say like, oh, I'm getting a headache. You might want to say, oh, I feel like my shoulder is stiff. Well, this is not just vocabulary you need. It's also different grammar. Like, I feel like, I kind of think it maybe is, or maybe it's gotten a bit, or something like that. And as you learn more grammar, you'll naturally learn more vocabulary with that. But I think if you just go out to try to learn vocabulary, it's not gonna stick. You're gonna learn it and it's all gonna leave your mind because you aren't actually able to use it yet. So I think grammar is much more important than vocabulary, always. But when you get to an advanced level, you'll obviously need more vocabulary. But grammar, I think, will encompass both of that. Hey, Scott, couple more curl. Sure. Okay, 2 more curls. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, 보통. 보통 means normal. You can use it as 보통 사람들은, normal people. 저는 보통이에요. I'm normal in that sort of sense. I'm regular. 보통. 평소 is referring to time. Normally, in normal times, regularly, on a regular basis. That sort of meaning of normal. 평소, you cannot use it as just like an adjective before a noun like you can with 보통. You could say 보통 집은, normal houses, normal people. 보통 사람은, a normal person. But you can't say 평소 사람. That doesn't make any sense. 평소, like I said, has to do with the times. Usual times, during regular times, in that sort of sense. So that's the very quick explanation of it. 평소 has to do with time. 보통 has to do with how something is. Something's regular or usual. Now, you can also use 보통에, 보통은. Normally, I do this. Normally, as in, if it's not unusual, normally. Whereas 평소 is normally in the sense of on a regular basis. Usually, often, that sort of meaning. If that makes sense. Yeah, 72. My program here says 76. So I'll just do it. I'll take another 1 or 2 questions, then we're going to stop for today. 기분 is, yeah, 보라. 기분 is your mood. You have a certain mood about something. You're feeling about something. The way that you feel overall. 느낌 can also mean a feeling. 느낌, however, is a pure Korean word for one. 기분 would be more of like a Sino-Korean word. 느낌, though, can also be a physical feeling. So like it hurts. It's got like a weird feeling. It's a strange feeling, like an actual physical feeling I get. You can also use 느낌 with like as a grammar form, like I feel like something. This is a strange feeling in that sort of sense. 기분 isn't really used that commonly. I'd say it does translate more like saying someone's mood. Like I'm in a good mood, he's in a bad mood, that sort of thing. 느낌 would not be used to say mood. Like I said, 느낌 was just feeling, comes from the verb 느끼다, to feel something. But they are similar in the fact that they both can kind of deal with your emotions. Oh, today's thumbnail. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe like this. Maybe I need to hold it up so it's like a little bit more clear what it is. Okay, like this, then like this. Gotta get the pose right. Okay, I don't want to like pop a vein or anything. Okay, something like that should be good. Oh wait, I could do a different one. Like maybe a dab with the dumbbell. Okay, maybe the dab with the dumbbell like that. One of those two should be good. Okay. Oh, my arms hurt. Okay. The dab bell. Yes. Oh, that's heavy. It's hard to carry it. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. If you are a member, make sure to there's a bathroom in that gym. Yes. Remember that if you are a member, check this channel after, say, about 4 hours or so from now, and you can watch the edited version, I'm going to do that right now, of this whole live stream to get a review. And I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Again, this next Sunday, there is no live stream. It's always 3 live streams and then 1 off for a break. So yeah, make sure to vote 2 weeks from tomorrow on my page. You can see I'll put up new voting options for what topic you'd like to learn about. If you are a member, make sure to get what your requests are to me before that. So you can send me a message in Discord or just post something on general if you're a member, and I can add that to the list so we can get a new lesson for the next set of 5 topics that we're going to be doing. See you guys again next time. My arms do kind of hurt a bit. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Okay, let's get out of this gym. Oh, I'm kind of sweating. Whew. Oh.